If you've watched my videos on religion and maybe seen some of the debates I've had with people of faith on other channels, then you already know I'm not exactly a big fan of religion.
Your knowledge is only overshadowed by your stupidity.
Okay, everybody, it's time to brush your teeth. Go get your toothbrush.
In fact, I hate religion. It's a cancer on society. It gets in the way of... Any questions?
Well, hello there, Dave. Yeah, I have a few questions for you. One, why do you sound like you're in a can in this video? It just seems kind of weird to sound like you're in a can. So what Dave's big thing here is Kim Davis is a hypocrite because it's illegal to change your mind. So, like, let's say we had somebody who was a Christian evangelist, but they were in a death metal band 10 years ago. Does that mean you're not allowed to change your mind? I mean, I see what you mean, Dave. Like, for example, you are against the Patriot Act, but you voted for Obama and Hillary. You're against the police state, but you voted for Obama and Hillary. Uh-oh. Whoops. Did you change your mind? Maybe you're for that now. Is that right? Okay, so she's a hypocrite. Kim Davis is a hypocrite. And let's give her the benefit of the doubt and say she has changed now. But what she's done in the past should haunt her forever now. So when Bill Clinton signed DOMA, the Defense of Marriage Act, yet he's cheated on Hillary, yet you've called Bill Clinton the most popular ex-president ever. And, you know, you slobber over him all the time, even though he wasn't nearly as progressive as Obama. So Bill Clinton signed DOMA and cheated on Hillary, so we can throw Bill Clinton under the bus. See, this is the problem, Dave, when you use this as your main argument. House Democrats voted for 2 rounds of Reagan's tax cuts that he signed. Uh-oh, that means tax cuts are good now, and you don't have the Democrats have no arguments against tax cuts. Whoopsie. Hillary Clinton made a living being against homosexual marriage until it was focus grouped enough that she thought she'd get votes for it. But when she was against it, she thought, well, it's not a popular position. So what's she really think? I think she just focus groups everything. So basically what Old Fart Rants is saying here is you're not allowed to change your mind. If you change your mind, then, yeah. So Anthony Flew, everything he wrote is garbage because he became a deist before he died, right? Anton Zander LaVey's son, you may remember, well, that doesn't really apply because that's his son. I mean, you can think of all kinds of things. You call her out for being a paper pusher. She works for the government, and all she does is file. So you're belittling a government worker. Dave, I'm not sure you should do that. You're probably not the best person to, you know, that's kind of the pot calling the kettle black. But if you want some information, go to my small government stupidity videos. And I've got, for now, I'm going to do another one at some point. I've got 158 examples of egregious government waste. And some of it does focus on paper pushers in government like Kim Davis, such as the USDA Rural Development Program. Thousands of paper pushers who do nothing but steal from taxpayers doling out pork. So if you're suddenly concerned about paper pushers stealing from taxpayers, it's amazing how you go back and forth on everything. You will just totally take a different view. That is just hilarious. What else did I... Oh, speaking of hypocrites, I challenged Old Fart Rants many moons ago, since he wants to liberalize marriage. And I would wager, if we'll never know for sure, but he was probably against homosexual marriage until the Democrat Party started using it as a wedge. And I would wager he was against it. And then as soon as they came out for it, oh yeah, I'm for it now. And probably acted like he was, he was at the forefront of this. He was one of the pioneers in that. Like when he used to brag about how he protested the Kennedy LBJ war in Vietnam. And then he votes for warmongers and ignores Obama's trysts into Syria and Libya without congressional approval, and all the drone attacks he did on Muslims. Yeah, that didn't say anything about that. In fact, there was a video, I'll find it unless you've deleted it, where you actually defended Obama's attacks on drone attacks on American citizens. So this guy, Old Fart Rants, he's really stupid and really malleable. He's one of these people that I would assume possibly that if a conservative had got to him first, back when he was before his brains turned into tapioca, he would probably be arguing the neocon Republican line today. But that was a long-winded rant there. Speaking of hypocrites, I challenged you to liberalize marriage. I asked you many moons ago, since we're going to liberalize marriage, and when I say that, that doesn't mean I approve. There's a whole bunch of things that I want people to be allowed to do that I don't approve of, such as watching pornography, binge drinking, using drugs, including hard drugs, and stuff like that, you know. That doesn't mean I approve of it. Julie Borowski did a video a long time ago on the war on drugs, and one of the things she said in that video, which is totally correct, just because you favor people using them doesn't mean you like it. Just because you're going to allow people to do it doesn't mean you're in bed with them, you know, philosophically speaking. And when I say liberalize marriage, I mean get the government out of it, because the government shouldn't be deciding marriage one way or the other. So I asked Old Fart Rants, do you... And I asked him, if you've said this somewhere in a video, I'll drop this right now. I asked him several times. If you've said it in a video, then I won't do this. Show me where you've said consensual, incestuous marriages between adults. Because there was an Obama supporter that was, you know, doing some stuff with his daughter. David Epstein was his name, I believe. Yikes. Should he be prosecuted for it? No. Will he be judged accordingly for it? Yes. Is he sick? Yes. But consensual incestuous marriages and consensual polygamy between adults. I don't know why a guy would want to be married to multiple women, but, you know, each to his own, I suppose. So I asked him that, and he never gave me an answer. In fact, he ran off the thread, and I recorded it all just so he couldn't come back and Monday morning quarterback it and say, I didn't say what you said. Speaking of these debates you've run every channel I've tried to debate you on over the last year, you've ran off from. You're not much for debates, are you, little fella? Unless you can control the debate. Well, Fart Rants didn't answer, so that would make him a hypocrite because, and I always point this out too, heterosexuals ruined marriage long before homosexuals did. All these heterosexuals who have multiple marriages. You know what I mean, Dave? All these heterosexuals who have destroyed, and this is important to the Democrats. Marriage is important because how long have we been listening to them caterwaul? Well, now it's over since the Supreme Court ruled. As an aside, if I was a senator and somebody introduced a marriage amendment banning all marriages but marriages between men and women, I would vote against it because I don't want the government in marriage at all. Not because I'm a fan of homosexual marriage or polygamy or incest. I don't want the government in it. That's why I would vote against it. So, Dave, if you happen to know anybody who's been divorced one time or maybe multiple times and had multiple failed relationships, yet they don't want to liberalize marriage, guess what? That makes you as bad, or anyone, you know, in particular. I'm not talking about anyone in particular, but if that's the case, if they don't want to truly liberalize marriage, and they've been divorced one time, or maybe multiple times, guess what? That makes them worse than Kim Davis. Uh-oh. Well, I think that concludes this one. One more thing. I'm going to put up this comment here. Now, ignore, this is something off of Old Fart Rants' Google Plus. Now, that's another thing. I got a question for you, Old Fart Rants. Why do you clear everything off your Google Plus? Your Google Plus is a barren wasteland now. However, I've got this comment from you. This is right before you even did this video because you were seething over Kim Davis. Ignore Old Fart Rants' comments about genitals. I didn't edit this comment. I thought about erasing what he said about genitals, but then I would probably be accused of editing it to make myself look good, so I'm leaving it up as it is. So ignore his comments, oddball comments about male genitals. That's weird. Yuck. Ignore that, and then he calls Kim Davis ugly. Dave, and he makes fun of her hair, too. Dave, you shouldn't be making fun of people's hair because you wore a $2 wig in your videos. You're ashamed of that chrome dome you've got with, like, what, 2 hairs? You kind of look like the Crypt Keeper with two hairs that are 10 foot long, and that's about all you can grow up there. So you shouldn't be making fun of Kim Davis's hair because you wore that $2 wig that looked like it had rats nesting in it. I haven't worn it for a long time. I suppose after I made fun of you for it, you probably threw it away. And I'm certain when you had it, it probably looked like it had been thrown away. And making fun of Kim Davis for being ugly. I'm not saying she's the most attractive woman on the planet. But have you looked in the mirror lately, dude? So that concludes this slapdown. So Old Fart Rants, are you a bigger hypocrite than Kim Davis? Dun dun dun.